If APA formatting feels overwhelming or confusing, I want to reassure you that it's not some mysterious academic code. It's just one structured way of writing in the scientific community. Just like you had to once learn how to write an essay, learning APA formatting is just learning another writing structure. Once you understand the logic behind it, it becomes a lot less intimidating. Hi, I'm Sally, your big sister academic who went from failing every single paper one semester to an A+ in my master's. I'm on a mission to help students reach their full potential and the grades they're capable of. Today, we're going to go over the essentials of APA formatting. We'll start with the overall structure of a lab report or journal article. Then I'll talk about in-text citations and reference lists. APA is commonly used in psychology, education, health sciences, and other social sciences. It teaches you how to credit ideas properly, build evidence-based arguments, communicate research clearly, and participate in academic conversations. It's part of learning how to think and write scientifically. While formatting details matter, what really shapes your paper is the structure. Here's a standard layout. You begin with the title page. The title page itself includes the title, your name, institution or university, and course details. Your title should be clear, specific, and descriptive. It shouldn't be overly dramatic or vague. Scientific writing prioritizes clarity over creativity, so keep it between 12 to 15 words. On the next page, you start your abstract, a short summary of your study. This is usually around 150 to 250 words, and it briefly covers purpose of the study, methods, key results, and the main conclusion. Think of it as a snapshot of your study. Now, even though it appears first, I would recommend you write it last, just like the introduction paragraph of an essay. After the abstract, on yet another new page, you start the introduction. This section introduces the topic, reviews relevant research, identifies a gap or problem, and states your research question or hypothesis. What you're doing here is building an argument for why your study matters before you start talking about what you actually did. This is the section where most of your in-text citations will appear because you're engaging with previous research. Now, from the methods section onwards, I'm not going to mention word count because APA doesn't outline them. Usually for assignments, your lecturer will give you a guideline, so follow those instead. Next, you write the methods section, which clearly states exactly what you did. It should be detailed enough that someone else could replicate your study. This section usually includes details about your participants, materials or equipment used, procedure, and design, which refers to the type of study you did. For example, was it an observational study or an experiment? Again, in your methods section, we want clarity. Just use precise descriptions. After your methods, you report what you found in the results section. This is where you present any results, statistics, analyses, and/or tables and figures. Now note, you don't interpret your results here. Interpretation comes in the discussion section. There, you explain what your results mean, connect findings back to the literature, discuss limitations, and suggest future research. What you're doing here is answering how the results relate to your research question. Finally, after all your discussion points, you'll need to write your conclusion. Depending on what your lecturers want, this could be the last paragraph of your discussion or its own separate section. Regardless, in the conclusion, you need to summarize the key results and the main conclusion or how the results relate to your research question. Last but not least, don't forget that you have to write a reference list. This also starts on its own page. Every source cited in your paper must appear in the reference list, and oppositely, nothing that you haven't cited should be there. Now, APA has certain standards or rules regarding font style, size, line spacing, and headings. If all of that is too confusing, try opening up a new Word document, look up APA template, and use that. Now that we have the overall structure, let's get into how to write in-text citations. In-text citations are a way of communicating with your reader where your information comes from. Any sentences or ideas in your assignment or report that aren't your own need to have an in-text citation. There are broadly two places where you can place your in-text citations in a sentence. If you've paraphrased an idea or sentence, you can put your in-text citation at the very end. Or if you're writing with a more narrative style, the in-text citation can come anywhere in the sentence. Here I've got an example of both. The first one, you can see the in-text citation at the very end of the sentence, and in the second, the in-text citation is at the beginning. Wherever you place it, it has the same format. APA uses author date formats. If there's one author, you write it like this. Open bracket, author's surname, comma, year of publication, close bracket. This is what you use when your in-text citation comes at the end of a sentence. When your in-text citation comes before the end of the sentence, you have the author's surname before the open bracket, year of publication, close bracket. The same applies if there are two authors, but here you put an ampersand between the two authors' surnames. As you can see, we've got Smith, ampersand, Jones, comma. When you have an in-text citation anywhere in the sentence, you will write it out as surname, the word and, second author's surname, and then the year of publication within brackets. When you have three or more authors, you put et al. After the first author's surname. As you can see here, we have Smith et al., full stop, comma, year of publication, or Smith et al., full stop, and the year of publication within brackets, if your in-text citation comes anywhere along the sentence. Now, et al. Is an abbreviation of the Latin phrase et alia, which means and others. As it's an abbreviation, you need to put a full stop after the L and before the comma and year. This is a minor mistake, but lots of students do it, so I'm just warning you. Now, if you're directly quoting from a source in your writing, there is one thing you need to add in your in-text citation, which is the page number where you found the quote. For example, here we have open bracket, author's surname, comma, year of publication, comma, P dot, which stands for page, and then the page number, close bracket. Be mindful that it shouldn't be the page number of the PDF if you have a digital copy, but the page number of the original source. And also, please don't include a page number if you haven't used a quote. It's unnecessary. Lastly, quotes are used scarcely in APA, so try to paraphrase as much as possible. In this last section, we're going to go over the reference list. The format of the references in the list are more extensive than in-text citations. The first example I have here is for a journal article. It starts with the author's surname, comma, and then the initials of their first and middle name if they have one. Then you have the year of publication in brackets, followed by a full stop. After that comes the title of the article, ending with a full stop, and then the title of the journal with the volume number in italics. The issue number follows within brackets, and then there's a comma and page range, full stop. If you have a DOI, that comes at the very end. Formatting details matter because it's all about traceability. Someone reading your work should be able to locate your sources easily. For things like chapters and books, the format varies slightly. Here you can see we still have the author's surname, comma, initials with full stops. And if there are multiple authors, you separate them by commas, followed by the year of publication in brackets and a full stop. Here's the name of the chapter, followed by a full stop. Then name of the book and the page numbers in brackets, full stop. Then you have the name of the publisher, full stop, and a DOI or URL if there is one. Here you can see we start off with the author's surnames, comma, initials with full stops, followed by the year of publication in brackets and another full stop. Then name of the book, edition, and a full stop. Then you have the name of the publisher, full stop, and a DOI or URL if there is one. For things like newspaper or government reports, the format is different still, so I suggest you look up how to write those online. I'll link some resources that are helpful for correct formatting in the description box below. Once you've written out all your references in a list, you need to order them alphabetically by the first author's surname. Make sure they're double-spaced like the rest of the document. You can do that by selecting the area that you want to apply the spacing setting. Go to the Home tab, click on Line Spacing, and select 2. Nowadays, the APA 7th allows 1.5 line spacing as well. Last but not least, all the references in your list need to have a hanging indent. What that means is the first line of each reference needs to be aligned to the left margin, and the rest of the lines need to have an indent. In the APA template document, it can be frustrating to try and navigate the preset format. So this is what I do instead. Highlight all the references, go up to the ruler, and drag the bottom arrow in. It needs to be just the bottom arrow, otherwise the whole thing will be indented. If APA has felt overwhelming, remember it's just a system, and systems become manageable once you understand the structure. Let me know which part of this video has been most helpful and follow for more from the Big Sister Academic.